Next up with PowerPoint, we are going to adjust the color of several images. So here's a finished look at what you are going to be doing. In this particular one, I have adjusted the saturation. And so here's the before image. Here's the after image. And the other thing that we are going to do is to go ahead and add the text, change the color of the text, and include a text outline so that it'll make the text stand out, be a little easier to read. And so we're going to do 3 slides, one for saturation and one for, here's your color saturation, color tone, and to recolor using these here. And probably we'll stick with some grayscales and maybe a sepia tone. Some of these others you can work with if you want to. That's interesting. And so that's what we're going to do in this lesson. So let's get started. So the first step is to go through and find the image that you want to use for this project. And you can use several. I just used the same one over and over again to do different things with it so you can get an idea of how it affects the same image. But if you want to pick some different ones, that's okay. This might be a good way to start, though, just so you can see the effect on the same image. So in the same way that you inserted pictures in the previous videos, go ahead and do that. I'll have a blank page, and then insert your picture and go and select the picture that you want to use. So I shortcut this just a little bit. You know how to insert a picture and resize it. And then duplicate that image. So it's going to be a Control-C and then a Control-V to paste that and get a copy of it, line it up using those horizontal alignment guides that show up here in PowerPoint. And then you can choose to do this either way. You can have your before image here or your after image here. I'm going to go ahead and put after here. And so this is going to be my saturated image. So select Format from the Picture Tools and then select Color. And the first series we're going to work with is Color Saturation. And so what it will do is saturate the colors and make the blues bluer, the greens greener. And so you can see as you scroll through here how we're starting to get more and more greens. Probably want to avoid oversaturating, but you definitely want to find something so it looks like you did make a change. And so that's looking pretty good right there. That's a little bit more saturated. I'll go right here at 200%. And there you go. Got your before and after. So the next step then is to insert a text box where we will type the words saturation to indicate what we have done to this picture. So click Insert, then navigate across the tools to Text Box, and then go ahead and draw out a text box and estimate about how big you want your text to be. And then I'm going to choose to put my text in the center. Choose your font type. I'm going to choose Adobe, Carlson Pro, and I'm going to start, see how it looks at about 60. And then I'm going to type saturation. Now I'm not really crazy about that particular color, so there's 2 things we could do. I could highlight this and then go select another color, or you can select your color before you start typing. So I will come over to my text color or font color, and I can select from any of these colors here, or I can use this eyedropper tool and come up with a color that exists within one of my images so that it'll closely match and maintain some continuity on this particular slide. So I'm going to try this out. Grab this eyedropper and sample one of these colors. And you can see the little example there. I could go with a blue that's in the sky, some of these earth tones here. And so I think what I will do is try, I think I'll stick with the blue for now. Maybe a little lighter blue right about there. See how that looks? Now, that doesn't look too bad, saturation, but it would be nice to have some type of a stroke or a text outline here so the text pops out a little bit more, a little easier to read. And so the way we can do that is we can go back into that text box. And up here, once we click into this text box, Drawing Tools tool appears, and we can format that text there. And then we have the option to add text outline. So I'm going to select my text that I want to put an outline around. And then I can select a particular color. And once again, I can just grab a black, which is probably what I'm going to do here because that's going to look pretty nice. But you could also, once again, use that eyedropper and pick another color out of your picture, something like that. So putting that stroke around the outside of those characters makes it a lot easier to read. I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with a black on this, though, just a standard black. And so that looks pretty nice. And then, of course, I'll just go ahead and estimate a location. And then I'm going to repeat that process to put before and after. So I will click back on our Insert on the main menu, text box, and then I'm going to draw out another text box. Now this time we can go ahead and pick our color ahead of time. So I think I'll come over here and grab the eyedropper. And then notice down here, I could grab that eyedropper if I want to use a different color, or I have recent colors used here, and there is the most recent color. So if I want to match my saturation text, I could just go ahead and grab the same color and change the size to 60. And I believe I had Adobe Carlson Pro. Type before, highlight that text, and I did want to put that in the center, so I'll click center again. I'll come over here to my format tools, text outline, grab that black, and there is before, and that looks pretty good right there. I think I'll just leave that as it is. Now once I've done that, what I could do, instead of drawing out a text box again and picking all those colors, I could just simply copy this text box. And once again, there's two ways to do that. I could right click and copy, or I could use the shortcut key, which is Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and then simply move that over here, and then I get those alignment tools so everything stays in a horizontal line. That's very nice. Double click, highlight, and then type after. And everything else is formatted the same. The only thing that's different is the location and the word that we're using. And there's before and after. So that's it. And so what you're going to do is repeat this process. You're going to do saturation, and then you're going to go to another slide. So you're going to have a blank slide. And I recommend using the same pictures. And the before picture will stay the same. And then click on the picture that we are going to change, format, color, and then this time go to color tone and experiment with that. And then in the next slide you are going to go to recolor. And so we're going to try either a grayscale, a black and white, this one, or what we would call, it looks like a sepia tone. It's kind of an orange look to the picture, give it an old-time picture look. And so that's what you're going to do. Once again, one slide with color saturation, and that's the one that I just demonstrated to you. Then do one for color tone, and then a third slide, before and after with a recolor. And that will conclude it for this lesson on using color to enhance or change or improve your existing image.